One of my subscribers saw the YouTube video that I've created on how to build an Excel dashboard, and he shared a real business data set and asked me to build an Excel dashboard. Instead of solving it offline, I thought, why not build it together step by step? By the end of this video, you will know how to create a fully interactive Excel dashboard using real supply chain data. This could be your final dashboard, and I'll help you how to create this. So this data set belongs to a company. They operate across multiple cities and suppliers, and management wants visibility on performance. We are going to answer 5 key business questions using this dashboard: revenue leadership, supply chain risk, supplier performance, logistic cost, top SKUs. Let me quickly walk you through the data set. So we have product type, and we have revenue generated, and we have price, and we have the supplier details, and which location, what is the lead time, and we have inspection results, defect rates, and what is the transportation modes. Each row represents one transaction at SKU level. So let's start to build the dashboard. So the first and very important step is to review the data. Where if we have any incorrect data, blank cells, and incorrect formats, and I don't see any issues with this data. So next I'll convert this into a table so it becomes dynamic. Select all, insert, click on table, click on OK. So now this has been converted to a table format. And when we reviewed this data, defect rate is already provided. I'll just adjust it to percentage format. So I'll create one more column for defect rates, percentage. So I'll use the formula equals defect rates divided by 100. So I got the defect rates as per the percentage. So with the use of table that I've created, let's start creating the pivot tables according to the requirement. So I'll have one more tab created only for pivot tables. So let's have the core section created. The first one would be what is our revenue by product. So for that, I'll have select the data and pivot, and I'll use the existing worksheet. Click on OK. So here I'll have product type to rows and revenue generated as values. So I'll use this as sum. This helps us prioritize the inventory allocation. I'll name this as revenue by product. So the products we have is cosmetics, hair care, and skincare. So this provides us the total revenue this products generated. So let's create another one, which is for lead time by location. So insert pivot. So let's use the same table. Click on OK. So here I'll select location as rows and lead time as values. So here it was defaulted to sum. I'll change this to average. Okay. Now I have the decimal. Let me convert this to number and remove decimals. Okay. So higher lead time indicates the potential risk. So let's create another pivot for supplier performance. Supplier performance. Insert pivot. Go to raw data. I'll select the entire table. Click on OK. So here I will be taking supplier name here, and then to understand the supplier informations, we should be having the total revenue generated along with the defects. So the total revenue generated as values, and so defect rates percentage, which we calculated at last. I'll add this here. Once you add this pivot, I'll convert this to average and have this in the percentage. Now, if you see the difference between this data, so it has a huge difference. Like it is counting as 1,57,000. This is with 1.8%. So to present this in the graph, it will be quite difficult, or the graph will not be as simple. So what I'll do is I'll add a one more column at last called revenue in lakhs. So I'll convert the existing revenue generated into lakhs here. So that will be equals, I'll select the revenue generated divided by 1 lakh. So this is done. I'll recreate this, try if this refresh. So that has been generated. I'll remove the field and I'll add this field. So this is sum. So now we have converted the sum of revenue into lakhs. So 1.57 refers to 1.57 lakhs or 1 lakh 57. So I'll just remove the decimals by reverting it, by changing it to number format. So now we are done with supplier performance. So the next criteria would be logistics cost breakdown. Logist logistic cost breakdown. So here I'll create one more pivot. Select the entire table, click on OK. So now I'll select the transport mode as rows and shipping cost as values. Here it is. So this should be in the sum. So you're done with the logistic cost breakdown. So the next criteria is identifying the top SKUs. Top SKUs. So to that I'll create one more pivot. Select the entire data, click on OK. So here I'll use SKU for rows and values would be revenue. So here I have all the data provided where I only need the top 5. So what you could do, click on this filter, value filters, you have top 10 here, change this 10 to 5, click on OK. So you only got the top 5. So you have a lot of decimal here. Let me convert it to number. So you have the amount here. So now we have created all the required pivot tables for a dashboard creation. So now let's start creating the charts for this. So let's use a simple column chart. Insert. Now I'll convert this pivots into visuals. First, we'll create a chart for revenue by product, a simple comparison of product performance. Select the data, insert column chart, click on this. So you have the column chart created. So let's rename this as revenue by product category. Click on OK. Then let's format this. I don't need the legend, and chart title is above. Okay, next we'll go to horizon axis. So we can make it look bold, and go to vertical axis. I don't need this axis. So the data starts from 1,50,000 and above, and the highest is 2,50,000. I can change this to 1,50,000, or you could do 1,30,000 also. And I don't want this grid lines. I've removed it. And next I'll go to the series. So here I need a data labels. Okay. So if you could see, you have this number directly. So if you can change the format to currency. So the chart is refreshed. So you can change the colors and the chart type according to your requirement. Let's go to the next chart, that is lead time by location. So these are the number of days, the location. So let's select this, insert. So here I'll be selecting the line, which will be easier to review it. Expand this. I'll name this as lead time trend by location. Click on OK. So now let's start updating the or modifying the chart. So I always prefer not including the legend, and the horizontal should be there, and go to vertical axis, this axis. So here the number of days starts from 14 and the maximum is 18. So we could do like 12 to 25. And I don't want the major guidelines. Series total, I can have the data labels by having the value. Was the date. So these are the number of days that they have taken, or you can have the major grid lines. Next, we will create a chart for supplier performance. Select the data. Let's use the bar, stacked bar. Okay. So let's name this chart as supplier performance. Click on OK. So let's format this. I'm not explaining this because this is the requirement. You can update this as per your requirement. And for series, I'll update the data labels like this and have this label position as base, and I can have the legend for this for the understand. Okay, so this starts from, I can choose from point 0.5 to 1.7. So the maximum is 1.58. So that should be fine. Okay, so now we are done with the supplier performance. Now we'll work on logistic cost breakdown. So we will use pie chart for this. Select the data, insert pie and 2D pie. So let's provide the chart title as logistics cost breakdown. Click on OK. So let's format this to, I want the data labels. So if you see, you have the total shipping cost updated here, but this doesn't give the entire data. So I'll convert this to percentage. I don't need this as a value. I'll update it as percentage and remove this. I also need the category name inside, have this in center. So this provide a comparison of the cost breakdown. So let's create a basic bar for to understand the top 5 SKUs. Select the data, insert. I'll create the bar. So I'll name this as top 5 revenue generating SKUs. And let's format this as well. So even this is in the number format. I'll change this to currency. Okay. So this revenue by product category chart provide a simple comparison of product performance, and the supplier performance provides a revenue versus the defect rate in one view. So this is easy to see the percentage contribution, and we have a lead time. This shows the performance variation across the locations. And the last one, this shows or highlights the key revenue drivers. So to make this dashboard interactive, I'll add slicer for this. Click on insert. I'll be selecting the pivot slicer. So I'll be adding multiple slicers, like for product type, location, and supplier name. So this is basically on how you will be filtering the data or how you want to analyze the data. So I'll click on OK. So we have created 3 dashboards. The first and very important thing is connecting all the pivots. So for the first slicer, I've connected all the pivots, close it. Do the same for other two. The reason we do this is if you select one slicer in this, so the entire graph will be changed if you're connecting this. Show settings. Right. So I've connected all the slicers to the pivot. So as soon as you update anything, now everything updates dynamically. So let's create the last requirement, that is your KPIs. So in this data, the KPIs that I have identified is the total revenue generated and average lead time, defect rate, and logistic cost. So we can create one pivot for this to make it simple. I'll select the data, click on OK. There's some issue. Okay, we can create it at last. Pivot. Okay, so the revenue generated will be the values and lead time, and I need the defect rate here and logistic cost. Okay, so now I've created the KPIs. So let's change the data as per our requirement. So the revenue generated should always be the sum. The lead time should be average, and defect rate should also be average, and the shipping cost will be sum. So these are the KPIs that I have to showcase in my dashboard. So I've created all the required information, charts, slicers, everything for my dashboard. Let's start working on creating the dashboard here. So let's add the KPIs first. Total revenue, average lead time, defect rate, stick cost. So instead of having one more formula here, I'll always link the pivot. The reason behind this is if you select any slicer, the data automatically changes. So here I have the total revenue. Click on enter. So average lead time equals, I'll do the same for defect rate. Okay, we have created the KPIs. We will format it later. Let's bring all the charts that I've created. So I'll always prefer having the dashboard created in the same file where we had the pivot. So next to this, I'll be adding the supplier performance. And I'll also have logistic breakdown here. Have this lead. And next to this, we also have the top 5 revenue as per SKUs. Okay, we are done with adding this here. So we will align this. So at last I'll be adding the slicers at the bottom of the page, or you can also use this at the top of the page as well. Show settings, I'll make it 2. I'll have it here. The last one is the supplier. So I'll try to fit in at last. So I'll have this also as 2 rows. Okay, the next thing is I'll hide the entire pivot section that I've created. So this is how your dashboard will look. And again, as I mentioned earlier, you can change the graphs, colors, everything as per your requirement. Okay, so this is how your supply chain performance dashboard looks like, and you can change. So if you want to know only the product type cosmetics, if you click on the slicer, it will show the data pertaining to cosmetics, and the same for hair care and skin care. You can use for the location as well, and supplier as well. So you will get the supplier details accordingly. So looking into this dashboard, what we understand is Skincare contributes the highest revenue, so the inventory should be prioritized here. And location, Chennai and Kolkata has a higher lead time, indicating the supply chain risk. Supplier 5 has a high defect rate despite strong revenue contribution, and this needs intervention. Road transport contributes the highest logistics cost, making it a key optimization area. And top SKUs drive majority of revenue and should be classified under the categories. So this is how you can convert raw data into a business ready dashboard using Excel. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you want to learn next.